What's up, guys? Welcome to the Mississippi Real Estate Podcast, hosted by Ryan Watson.
And I'm Tripp Spruill, where it's all about real life, real talk, and real estate.
Join us as we dive into the stories, trends, and insider tips shaping the world of Mississippi real estate.
Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or you're just curious about the market, we've got all the insights you need to navigate with confidence. So if y'all are ready, let's get real.
All right, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we're here. This is episode 3, and we survived episodes 1 and 2.
Yep.
I hope that you guys got on there and listened to them. If you haven't, then go back and watch those or listen to them, and hopefully we gave y'all some good pointers on some buyers things, how to get your money right.
Yeah.
Before you
Last
buy a
episode,
house.
yeah, talked about debt. Talked about debt and down payments.
Yeah.
A little bit. First episode talked about us.
Yeah, talked about us on the first one, kind of who we are. We're going to get into more detail in a later episode on those, kind of a little more in depth, maybe a little bit of
little teaser
testimony.
Yeah,
put that in there. So, but on this episode, we're going to talk about the real estate market
locally.
Yep. Yeah, and so we'll be talking about the market in the central Mississippi area. I guess you will.
Yeah.
Might extend, out to Raymond a little bit. And different places around. So, but Tripp, you want to kind of get us started talking about what the market looks like on your end from your standpoint?
Yeah. Well, we had
a real estate agent.
Yeah, we had a good meeting today. Today at the Weicker sales meeting, and my biggest takeaway is that we're approaching Thanksgiving, getting into the holiday season. And, getting towards the end of 2024, and it's still a seller's market, in my opinion. Absolutely. And really kind of what the numbers tell us, right?
Yep.
So we're still not quite there to neutral yet. 6 months is about, give or take, neutral market. And we're still in the...
Getting to be a lot of inventory on the market.
Slowly coming back up, but still low.
Yeah. Getting to be more than it was.
Yeah.
I guess you could say. Not a lot. But,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but what would you compare that to? You don't want to compare that to COVID was.
No, I think we got to get away.
You got to figure out where to compare things today.
I know, it's difficult.
Post-pandemic.
Yeah, we got to get further away from the pandemic to get back. But I don't know. Like I said, I think 6 months worth of inventory. The absorption rate is what we talk about. How long, if nothing else came on the market today, how long would it take to offload what's currently out there? So I think around 047 Brandon, the reservoir area, is about right at 4 months.
Yeah, 4 months.
Pearl's still hot, moving hot at 2 months. You know.
Yeah.
We
got a peeper in the window.
We got bystanders. we got to black these windows out.
Come on in here. You can be on the podcast.
It's locked. They can't come in. Anyway, local market, still a seller's market. I think it's going to probably go into 2025 and a little bit further before it gets really more or less balanced out. We got to get, you got to get, things got to happen. Interest rates got to figure themselves out. Buyer confidence has to come up a little bit, right? And that's going to be tied in with the economy, I believe. Yeah. And then we got to get some.
It's got to get better after this election, I would think.
Yeah.
Not trying to get political or anything.
Yeah, I think so. You just see political cycles do matter. I also think we got to get some new construction out there. I think we talked about that a little bit today in the meeting too. New construction is still kind of down. Yeah. But D.R. Horton is building a couple neighborhoods, and they've got some other ones going on. There's some other builders got some stuff going on, and there's new construction stuff out there. But I think as a whole, specifically, I know we said we're going to say locally, but nationally, I think it's still low. Yeah, and it's low too for the most part.
Well, nationally, that affects us. That affects us on national levels for sure.
But my biggest takeaway is it's still a seller's market. But here's
seller's market.
Yeah, still a seller's market, but with a caveat. Houses are staying on the market longer. Yeah. So sellers don't freak out.
Yeah.
Because
they're going to be on sellers. They're going to be on the market for a minute. They're definitely not like, I keep going, pandemic stuff here, but they're not going to fly off the shelf, so to speak, in a few days. Some of them might, it just depends on location and the
still
house.
matters.
But for the most part, generally speaking, most houses are sitting there for a good while,
The average has ticked up. I mean, I think
what's the average now?
Well, I think we just saw in Rankin County,
45 days or something?
Yeah, 45, 50, 55-ish days. There was one, I can't remember, I have to go back and look, but there was one zip code that was around 80. But you also have to vary that with price points too.
Yeah.
So Pearl's still moving really fast. Inventory is about 2 months, but the days on market are less. Price points are different.
Yeah.
So you're going to look different in Flowood and Madison.
That's
Flowood
right.
has lesser inventory naturally anyway because they don't have a whole lot of neighborhoods. But so that does affect it too. So what I'm saying is still a seller's market, which is good for sellers, but the houses are starting to sit a little bit longer, but sellers don't panic by that.
Yeah, y'all don't panic. If you're getting ready to put your house on the market, don't panic about it.
Yeah.
It will sell. It may take a little bit longer than than what we've seen in the past, but
what do you think also contributes to a little bit of the slowdown?
Oh,
where are we coming into?
I mean, obviously, rates have something
you're thinking
to do with
too
it.
hard. You're thinking too hard on it though. What are we coming into? In 1 week we've got what?
I have no idea.
Thanksgiving, man.
Oh yeah, the holidays.
Yeah, we got the holidays,
Yeah,
Christmas.
maybe, yeah.
Everybody's got turkey on their brain, and we're spending money on Christmas gifts, and so naturally we're in a little bit of a slowdown.
Yeah, I mean, people are they're gonna say, I don't want to. They're not gonna be in a hurry to sell anything because may have family coming in for the holidays, and may have whatever it is that you do, for the holidays. But
doesn't mean things won't sell during this time.
That's right.
Because they obviously will.
Yeah.
And buyers.
But from our perspective, it's a little bit slower.
Yeah.
This time
I would
of year.
say so.
Yeah.
But buyers are still, look, they've got a little bit of negotiating power back a little bit. There's some concessions being thrown around out there. And so it's, I think it's starting to get to what, I don't know if any real estate deal, I don't know what constitutes a normal deal, but it feels like it's starting to normalize a little bit.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know what that looks like as a newer agent, in the real estate world, but I'm learning. But I do know from what I hear and what I've been around in the past. But yeah, it does seem like it is definitely getting to be more of a normal real estate world. We're getting back to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
But
so if you're wanting to buy, sell, or invest, hit us up.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm plugging two White Boys
Yeah.
here.
How many listings you got right now?
I got 0.
You got 0 listings?
No, that's a lie.
No, you do.
I've got Porterhouse and Raymond.
Okay.
I forget about the ones
I got 0. I've had some terrible situations come up recently.
Well,
go ahead. You got.
I got
Porterhouse
and Raymond.
Yeah.
That's a cool spot.
That is a very cool.
It's like
place.
a corner lot
venue,
right there.
It's a little bit of everything.
It's Airbnb right now.
You may have a buyer on it, I think. No.
I'm showing it today.
Yeah, you better hurry if y'all want.
Yeah.
If it's still on the market, this dude right here sells stuff quick. So.
Well, I appreciate that.
If it's still on the market,
I'm going to work really hard to sell it today, but I am showing it today. It's a really cool house. It's really being used. It's an Airbnb right now.
Yeah.
And it's right next to the Raymond, the wedding venue.
Oh yeah.
And it's also right off the Trace. I mean, within
really
seconds
cool
of the Trace. So you get, they get a
jump
lot
on
of
Trace and go to Madison.
They get a lot of bike riders, and they get a lot of people going up and down
I didn't think about that.
the Trace for Civil War type stuff, history buffs and stuff.
All
the
kinds
house,
of archaeology and
yeah,
some cool stuff.
yep. The house itself is on the historic registry.
Yeah.
Mississippi, or I guess it's national, isn't it?
I think so. National Historic Registry. Or
It's a mouthful, but it's on there.
Yeah, it's on that. It's on that thing. Yeah.
I have that listing, and then I have a lot in Madison in Chestnut Hills. That's 2.5 ish acres.
Oh, cool.
I've had one guy interested
Where's
in
that?
it.
Where did you say that one at?
Chestnut Hills. It's going towards
Chestnut Hills
It's
at?
like right below Livingston up there
Okay.
in the Flora.
Oh, that's a great area.
Yeah.
That's a great area out that way.
Beautiful, beautiful neighborhood, rolling hills, got a couple lakes on it.
Oh, yeah. That's a good little spot out there.
This lot has option of you can put your house in several different places there. It's a blank canvas, still got trees on it and everything. I've had a guy out of state very interested in it. I've talked to him a couple times, but he hadn't been able to get down here yet. But hopefully have that going pretty soon. But
Heck yeah.
Unfortunately, lost the Butterfield listing.
I know, man. That was a bummer.
That was a bummer.
That's what happens, though. I mean, this is real life. That's why we do this. This is real life, real talk right here.
Yeah.
And
It
sometimes
happens.
that happens.
It happens.
You know?
It was I will say this. I was very, very blessed and honored to have the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Not a lot of people get the opportunity to go into a venue, a home, or a property like that. There's an amazing property down in Brookhaven. I hope she does sell it. I know
$1 million property.
Yep, $1 million property. That's another thing that is kind of, was real interesting for me to get into. That was my first.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
There's some things I could definitely have done differently, but there's things that I felt like I did really good.
Yeah.
And I've got a great relationship with the owner, and so we'll see where it goes from here. I mean, if I still,
they might decide to list it again.
yeah, they're going to take a little break, and we'll see. The conversation's not over, but it happens, man. And I will say this: like, $1 million listings are cool, but they're different.
Yeah,
and
they're hard.
They're harder.
Yeah,
they can be.
Not only is there more square footage typically, but there's also they're going to want $1 million videos. They're going to want all the things $1 million. They're going to want it to look like $1 million production.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's going to be hard to do. But just give us a shout. We'll make it happen.
Well, that's all I have in mind. What about you? Where you at?
Oh, man. So I don't have any listings right now.
But you got through a couple of them not too long ago.
Got through a few.
A couple of weeks ago, you had 2.
Yeah, and then, I had. This is going to be some real life situation right here. So I had some. Hopefully, I was going to have some clients that were coming up in a neighborhood, and they got arrested. And I was like, "What in the world?" So I don't.
Be careful on the details.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail about all that stuff, but that's the kind of thing that happens,
Yeah.
I'm like, I got another listing coming, then all of a sudden, they're in jail or something, and I'm like, well, there goes that listing. But that's the real life side of being a real estate in this business. You have stuff like that happens.
There's more hurdles that pop up in real estate than I think is seen on an outside visual. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to say, okay, you got that house, and then you closed on that house, and man, there's so many hurdles that pop up in between. But then there's so many hurdles you get before you even get to the execution of a listing contract or writing about it. So like being arrested is interesting.
But being arrested. But now I will say this: if they did call me, I still would say, hey, look, I'd love to list the house for you, and I'd go list it for them because I have a heart. And people mess up and make mistakes. That's why we need Jesus. And a little Jesus plug right there.
Yeah.
But because anyways, I would love to help them if they still needed my help. But that's just how it goes, man.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. It just comes and goes.
Yeah. It ebbs and flows for.
I don't have anything right now.
Well,
I got one potentially.
You showed a house yesterday.
I showed a house yesterday. Got one maybe coming up in Terry.
Yeah. You're still waiting on Terry.
Yep, still waiting on Terry. So currently they're a buyer's agent, but we're not ready to. I'm not a buyer's agent. They're a buyer for me. I'm the agent, but they are not ready to list their house yet. They're doing some preparations and things for that. But I am looking for them a house.
Yeah.
And while we're waiting, because it's just part of it. But
yeah, you always sometimes you'll have stuff that is working, but it doesn't work out till later down. It's like that's what they call keeping the pipeline filled.
That's right. Yep.
So you might have a deal working like you've got this Terry thing, but it may not. It may be the first of the year before you get it up and going. I've got one similar. I forgot about. It made me think of. I've got one coming. She's not ready yet, but I've got a potential listing. we've already had all the conversations, so I'm on her timeline, but it's going to be over in Le Bourgeois, 471.
Le Bourgeois.
Yeah, old
That's
school
a good
neighborhood.
little spot. Right
yeah, man,
there.
it's definitely a I call well, dadgummit, I can't think of the name now.
Well, I called it. I was like the
established neighborhood.
It is.
Yeah, big trees.
There's some big money in there. Big money in there.
Man, I'm telling you what, grew up there, man. I had a lot of friends.
Did you really grow up there?
Well, I didn't grow up in Le Bourgeois,
but for big money?
No. No, I'm just saying I had a lot of friends that lived in the neighborhood when we were growing up and, in high school and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's a very established neighborhood. It's a well-known neighborhood up and down the close to that 047, 042 line.
It's bougie.
It's a hard one to spell, too.
Yeah, it is. When I first saw it, I was like, Laborgus
Wazi. Yeah. So where do you think local market inside, what do you think 2025 is going to look like, getting into 2025?
Man, I'd like to say that it's going to be a great year.
I think so, too.
I think it's going to be a great year for real estate agents. I just feel like, we're coming out of a year that was just blah, just a tough year. Yeah. Now, I had a few closings, but I know you did too. But it was I just felt like 24 just kind of drug along, There was a lot of business things and things that we did that were great with our businesses, but I think 25 is going to be the year. I feel it. I think it's going to be a great year. So if this is a year that you probably should get out there, and if you're selling a house, it's going to be the year to list your house, and I think it's going to be a good year. Yeah. We'll see. You never know what happens.
We don't have a crystal ball.
We could enter into another pandemic. Who knows?
Oh my gosh!
I hope that doesn't ever happen.
Don't put that out
I hope that doesn't happen again.
No doubt.
Anytime soon. It's going to happen. Just may not.
I agree. I think 25 is going to be a good year. I know you came in 2024 into the real estate game, and for me though, it's a little bit different for me. I've actually had my best year this year so far.
Have you really?
Yeah. I got back to thinking about it.
Well,
from when I first
have a good year, didn't you?
Yeah, and I'm hoping to close out the year with I've got 2 under contract now. So if I close these 2 out before the end of the year, then it will be by far my best year. So what I'm seeing from it, I appreciate it.
Congratulations,
thanks,
man. That is really cool.
But what I'm saying is that I do still feel like 24 was a weird, kind of sluggish and non-sluggish year. Kind of just again, it ebbed and flowed in different ways for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I've had a really good year. Yeah. And I feel like 2025 is setting up to be a really good year too. I just feel like buyers are going to get confidence back. I feel like inventory is going to creep back up because sellers you got people that have been wanting to sell for a while. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people in real estate. Yeah. I feel like a lot of our clients are going to get back out in the market, make the moves, and I feel like a lot of real estate agents are going to have really good years in 25.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be good.
So the cool thing is we'll be able to look back on this and say, were we right?
Yeah, probably not. But
I don't know, man. I'm going to hedge my bet and say that we're going to be pretty.
We're going to be pretty spot on.
I'm going to say that we'll be right.
For our thousands.
I'm hedging our bets. It's going to be a good 2025.
It is. It's going to be good. Go ahead and just speak that into existence right there.
Yeah, man. Positive vibes.
Positive vibes.
Going out of 24 to 25.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Next thing, let's talk about.
Oh boy.
All right. First of all, did anybody watch the fight with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul? That was just. I'm not going to talk about this for a long time, but that was a crazy fight.
So, admittedly,
Jake Paul whooped his booty.
Well, okay.
But he hung in there to be at the age that he was. He hung in there.
Did he whoop his? Did Tyson hang in there, or did Paul hold back?
I don't know. Well,
so here's
then you never know what kind of behind the under the table stuff was going on either.
Yeah. So admittedly, I don't know much about boxing.
Yeah.
UFC.
I don't either.
I don't know.
It hadn't really been on the scene until it started coming back.
I know. So I never really, when I was younger in boxing, I think boxing was really popular by
Before MMA kind of got all.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got the different. You got boxing, and you've got the cage fighting and all that stuff, and I know there's different styles. But my thing is, just collectively in the fighting sport, I don't know much about it, and I don't keep up with it. But you know what the funny thing is? Everybody knows who Iron Mike is, right? Mike Tyson.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was an old Nintendo game, of him. And so my thing is, it's kind of, I kind of laugh about it. I was telling Tracy, like, it's kind of like the Olympics. Like, nobody's really a big swimming fan until the Olympics come, and all of a sudden we're like,
everybody, same with football,
everybody's like cheering on butterfly and
well, it's like
backstroke.
the NFL, the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So this fight comes out. And, I was at deer camp, and one of our camp members had this. I mean, we literally had the cell phone in the window to get service, and we were watching it over like watching it in the window, like standing up watching it. And surprisingly, I know it went 8 rounds, but it didn't feel like it lasted long.
No, it didn't. They did 2-minute rounds.
So I
think I could be wrong on this. I think the rounds are typically longer than the 2 minutes. They're 3 minutes.
3 minutes. So I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they went 2-minute rounds instead of 3.
Well, he's old.
Yeah, older. Yeah.
So here's my takeaway, and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So I would love to see what people say about my knowledge of this. I saw an older man fight a younger man, and an older man appeared to hold his.
How old is Jake Paul? 27. 27. Yeah.
And he's 58.
Thank you, Sarah.
You know when your daddy always says, I'm not old enough to whoop your butt? That's kind of what that was like.
Yeah.
So
that kind of was.
So yeah. I saw a fight take place by a young man and an old man, and the old man looked to actually still have his swing, because everybody knows Mike can throw a hard punch, but it just seemed like he wasn't his legs were slower.
Yeah.
But then I looked.
At
the other guy, the younger guy.
I think he had a leg injury. He said he didn't want to talk about it because he didn't want to have any excuses.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But then I saw the other guy, who obviously is, in his prime, and I'm just thinking, is he holding back? Could he have really gone after him and really hurt him?
I don't know. We're talking about Mike Tyson. You got to still have that when you're dealing with Iron Mike. You're still going.
He's
the greatest.
He got
he's
some
one of the greatest.
He did get some punches in there that I was like, okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it got old Paul's attention. But I still think he held back a little bit. Yeah. But I think it's because of, we don't know what the deal was behind the scenes. Yeah. It could have been like, hey, we're going to do this, but like, don't knock him out. Yeah. And I don't know. That may be wrong. It may not be wrong. But here's the other deal, though. I know he had a lot of respect for.
Oh, for
sure. He bowed. They had a good conversation. It seemed like afterwards. So it was a
very. Jake Paul for that part of it. But,
yeah, but here's the thing, and I heard somebody say this on the news. Jake Paul was kind of a lose-lose, right? If you get beat by him.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you just got beat by a 60-year-old.
Right.
But if you beat him, you're like, oh my God, dude, you beat up a 60-year-old.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
woohoo.
Maybe going the full 8 rounds was the way it's supposed to be. I know a lot of people. I saw some of the news, and I saw some stuff on social media, and a lot of people were like kind of disappointed, I guess, with the outcome, or maybe it was boring to them or whatever.
Not a lot of negative things about it too. But
I don't really think.
We're not gonna get into all that here.
But
let's talk about.
I think he paid off some.
Let's bring us around to real estate.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So, Jake Paul.
Yep.
Has got he bought a $16 million house about a year ago. I believe it was about a year ago in Puerto Rico. Is it Puerto Rico?
Nice little secondary vacation home.
Yeah. And he just recently did $4 million in renovations, and so now it's a $20 million mansion. If y'all get a chance to go look at that, it's really cool. It looks like it's just $1 million bachelor pad, honestly.
Well, it's a multi-million-dollar bachelor pad.
Yeah, multi-million-dollar.
Yeah. I would have parties there if I was his age.
It's got like a 6-car garage, and
out in Paradise.
He's got a batting cage in there.
Movie theater.
I
can't remember what he listed.
You don't even have to leave your house unless,
Well, that's my idea. I mean, congratulations to the agent that sold that property.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Hope you got your buyer's agreement right.
Yeah, you better have had your buyer's agreement right.
Hope you didn't shortchange your commission on that one. But
No,
in my opinion, if you buy
something,
like when people buy stuff like that, like you know, whatever the price tag is, 16 million, 20, 40 million, whatever. If you see a house of that stature, like I'm purchasing that to have friends over, come, hey, let's vacay.
Host
I mean, you
everybody.
don't buy that. Some people do, I guess, because they just want to be, they want their space and escape. But man, I would be having folks come hang out and let's go create some memories.
Yeah, lots of family over and.
Yeah.
Or do you?
Well, it depends on if you like your family. Some people would invite the family,
No,
some people would.
I love my family.
I would invite my family.
My
I'd
family
invite
would probably
you.
be there every day.
I'd invite you.
You would? You'd invite me?
Yeah. But I think after this fight, he probably paid that off.
Oh,
If
dear.
he didn't already pay it off.
Oh, easy. Probably with his sponsors.
Yeah.
You know,
Royalties.
Celsius and whatever else he's sponsored by.
Yeah.
So,
So you had an interesting weekend.
I did have an interesting weekend. I was going to ask you that.
Well,
you want to start with your weekend? Then we'll
let's start with mine because mine was super
then
boring
we'll
and
end
slow.
with the craziness that I had this weekend.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So no surprise, it's deer season, so I went.
Oh, you went deer hunting? Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
I didn't see anything. I didn't.
No deers.
Well, I forgot. You know, sometimes I think I'm a
It ain't about that, right?
what?
Seeing something or not. It's about being out there and enjoying the outdoors.
Sure.
But you spend a lot of money.
Look,
Go ahead.
I go out there a lot, so I enjoy the outdoors a ton. But when it comes deer season, I get in deer modes. If I don't see anything, nobody likes getting skunked. It is a part of it. It's always pretty being out there. It's always good to slow down, reset. It's kind of my tree stand therapy. But I just pulled a rookie mistake, and I just didn't pay attention to certain things. And I'm out there Friday evening, and I'm having a good hunt. I'm in a spot that I had just so much confidence in. I've got a lot of activity out there, whatever, and I'm like, I'm starting to lose time. I'm like, what's going on?
Is this the spot with the ducks? With the wood ducks?
No.
A different spot.
No, that's a different spot. But that's a cool spot, too.
Yeah. Did you get to hunt any?
I didn't go to it. The wind was good for it this weekend, but I got a little riskier. I was trying to move in closer to some deer. I started popping back on camera with my bow.
I got you.
But I had a good win for this sit, but I was like, what is going on? I'm sitting in a natural funnel in between. Anyway, I'll show you later. But
Natural little funnel for the deer traveling.
the time is ticking away, and I'm like, I'm not seeing nothing. And then it's getting dark, and I look down on my phone, and I'm like, man, I only got like 20, 30 minutes left before it's, you're past the shooting light and legal light. But I'm like, it just seems oddly. And I look up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't look at the big old full moon sitting up above me, and I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense, and they probably won't be moving until about another 2 or 3 hours, middle of the night, and they were. So anyway, I got to camp. That's what I did again. Fairly boring.
But you still got to go.
Fun for me,
Fun
for me. But as far as stories goes, kind of boring for our audience. So we'll jump into your excitement. So why don't you get into what happened to you this weekend?
Oh my gosh! So I got to be careful with the way that I describe all this or tell this story. But so we had some photography and things that we did this weekend. We do every weekend on that. But we're laying in the bed, and we get the kids in the bed early Saturday night, and we're like, okay, we're going to church in the morning. We're gonna get up at whatever time, 7:30. Sarah gets up a lot earlier than I do, but we're laying there in the bed, and from my perspective, Sarah just jumps up out of bed. She said, somebody just knocked on the door. And I woke up instantly. I was like, what? Somebody's knocking at the door. She said, yeah, I think somebody's at the door, at the front door. And I said, okay.
What time was this?
I jumped up, and this was 4:30 in the morning. It's about 4:30. And so it's still dark. Yeah. Not even close to daylight yet.
Not an ideal for a knock on the door.
Yeah, not a good time for people to be knocking on my door. And so I jump up. I'm not going to give y'all a mental picture of what I was wearing.
but you just did.
but But I jumped up, and I go in there, and Sarah gets about, she comes out of the hall from our bedroom into our living area, and I see her look at the front door, and then I see her look the other way. Well, there was nobody at the front door. She was like, I don't see anybody at the front door. Well, she looks at the back door, and our back door has got, it's a glass, almost a full big window in the middle of it. What do you call that kind of door? Anyway, it's got a lot of glass.
Yeah,
well, there's somebody standing there in the window, and she sees them first. She said, there's somebody at our back door. There's somebody at our back door. You know, and I'm like, what are they doing at our back door? So naturally, I just go into, I was a cop for 10 years, a police officer, so I quickly go into cop mode.
Yeah.
She does like I've always told her, and she just starts calling 911.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead and get somebody on the way, because you never know what the situation is with something like that. And so I, being the protector and, used to be in law enforcement, I go and grab my gun. And I get to the door and I say, I'm still not even dressed yet. I mean, so y'all get this picture. So I crack the door open a little bit, and I just stick my gun through there, and I say, can I help you? Why are you at my house at 4:30 in the morning? Why are you on my back porch?
Yeah, who are you? And
the weirdest, scariest part of it was, is that he was at my back door.
Yeah.
Why didn't he go to the front door? That was the concerning part of the whole
if
situation.
If the 4:30 wasn't a red flag enough.
Right.
Then he's at the other.
Right.
Yeah, 2 red flags.
And but even scarier than that is the guy didn't move. Didn't move him. When I put my gun on him, he didn't move. He didn't step back and go, oh.
Yeah.
Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. I think he had had a few beers, or may have been on something. No telling. But he proceeded to tell me that he needed a ride, and we live out in the country. Yeah. I mean, we're out in Pelahatchie and Pisgah. We're a good ways from everybody. So I knew that it was going to be a minute before law enforcement got there. All these things are running through your mind. If I got to fight this dude.
So what you're saying, you're not in the neighborhood. You're not in the neighborhood where you're zero lot line. You're like, hey, go to the Smith's house.
I mean, there's 3 or 4 acres between me and anybody around us.
Yeah.
Of woods.
Yeah.
So this is just a creepy situation all around. Everything's running through your mind. Am I going to have to shoot this guy? What is this guy doing here? But he's asking me for a ride and to go somewhere. And he told me he was having he was on a spiritual journey. He had gotten and went to a party and was having a spiritual journey. And I just, afterwards, I said, that guy about went on a spiritual journey.
He about got real spiritual.
He about got real spiritual, But, I mean, that's just what you do to protect your family. I was prepared to do whatever was necessary.
Yeah, we don't condone violence in any way, but...
no, but, I mean,
but
I want
But if somebody's at your door at 4:30 in the morning and you got your kids at the house and your wife and
3 kids are asleep.
You got to protect yours.
And the kids still... as of now, don't have a clue this happened.
That's good. Yeah.
I didn't want them to be scared, and we've been careful about talking about it till now. Leslie, but only our oldest probably would understand if she watched this. But it was a crazy situation. So I just naturally I said, as a law enforcement, I said, dude, you got your driver's license on you?
Yeah, you did go in cop mode.
Yeah, I was like, give me your driver's license. And so this guy, he's like, all right, so he gets his driver, hands it to me. He's from Minnesota.
That's crazy.
So from Minnesota, showed up in Pelahatchie at my back door and needs a ride. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know how far I'm going to have to take this dude if I got to take him somewhere. But anyway.
Sarah's got the ride on the way.
I could be it. Yeah, absolutely. And I told the guy, I said, I got your ride coming. I got your ride. But I quickly knew that he was... intoxicated, under the influence of something.
Yeah. Which can also be dangerous.
Absolutely.
You don't know what.
Yeah, absolutely. So
it was lucky he was kind of complying with everything.
Right.
Just kind of.
And so I said, look, just come right over here, and I put a chair, a lawn chair, in the middle of my driveway, and I said, look, just sit right here. We'll get you a ride. We're gonna get you a ride.
You don't have to pay for this Uber.
Yeah. And so a few minutes later, Rankin County, kudos to Rankin County, they showed up quick. The dispatcher was just absolutely amazing. You know, you hear so much bad stuff with law enforcement.
Yeah.
But they really just made Sarah, she stayed on the phone with them the whole time, the dispatcher.
Yeah.
Dispatcher just made Sarah feel just calm and hey, we're on the way. You know, how can I assist you from here and what I'm doing? And so and I wish Sarah could talk to y'all about it. She really has just sung their praises since that all happened. But they were great. Rankin County showed up. They did their job just great. And look, there's a lot of bad things that have been said recently about Rankin County, and so that's why I think this is important, because these are still real human beings.
Oh, yeah.
They're still out there doing a job. I've put a
Dangerous.
badge and a gun on for 10 years of my life, so I respect them. And I'm not just saying all this because I was one.
Yeah.
But that they do need that recognition on what they do good, and you know, he was prepared to do whatever he needed to do to protect us as well. But anyways, they got the guy riding, and that was needless to say, I didn't go back to sleep. Neither did Sarah. We went ahead and just made some coffee and got our morning started early, or a little bit earlier.
I can't imagine the conversation after dude leaves, cops leave, and you're like, well, I guess
we stood there in the kitchen and said, what just happened?
Yeah.
What in the world just happened?
How's this day? Where's this day go from here?
and look, so I'll throw a little plug in here too with Crossgates Church too. We've just kind of went through a little class by David Jett, who's amazing pastor. He's now the teaching pastor at Crossgates, and so we were going through a class that's called Spiritual Warfare, and so and he goes in depth about things that you don't typically talk about at church, you know, of just the spiritual things, you know. Ultimately, the Holy Spirit, I mean, is real, and it's, but there's also other things out there, demonic things, and so we're not, coming out of that class, we're just like, does this dude have a demon? What is going on? And we're asking all these questions, and so it was just it was a crazy experience. For real.
Yeah, that was a lot more exciting. On a whole lot of different levels than I went to deer camp, got skunked. I didn't have
But you never know.
Anybody show up at, you know.
And we've been let me go ahead.
The whole spiritual, the what he told you about, I'm on a spiritual journey. I mean,
was weird.
First of all, let me set this up in my perspective in my home. If that would have happened at my house, I would have been screaming like a little girl. If I'd have turned around and seen dude in the door, Jason, I would have been like, what are you doing? Like, I'd have been barking at this dude like my dog, but probably have no bite. I'd have been so freaked out, you know, because you don't expect that, right? Yeah. So I just told on myself a little bit. I probably would have got a little bit more antsy, but it'd take me a second to I need to get right.
If we can get the video on there, we will.
Tracy, go get him.
Tracy, you better get it.
You better handle that. No, but that's crazy. And here's the deal. It's like you said, like when you're out there where y'all live, like you're expected to look out your back porch. Oh, there's a deer rummaging around out there.
There's a possum on the back porch.
Not some dude just
eating the cat food.
I'm having a spiritual journey.
Yeah, no, it was.
Which
it was crazy. And look, the next morning was weird too. And I don't want to drag this on too long, but the next morning I go out to take the dog out. She wakes up at 4:30 in the morning, and my new puppy, June. Every time I call Tripp from the house, I'm usually yelling at June, telling her.
You can't start the conversation off without yelling at June before me and you talk.
Right. That's just we gotta have a conversation about June. Anyway, she woke up at 4:30 in the morning, the next morning, and so I go outside, and probably the same thing I was wearing whenever I pulled the gun on the guy.
Back to that.
Yeah, and so there's another mental picture. So I'm sorry, but we get out there, and I hear a car turn around in my driveway.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in the world? Dog starts barking, and I'm like, surely, all I can think about is what just happened the night before, or the morning before. And so it ends up being, we look back at the cameras, it ends up being an Amazon driver. I mean, what Amazon people, look.
It's that time of year, man.
4:30 in the morning, is it really necessary to deliver packages?
It's getting to that time of the year.
It is. I guess they got to get
They're
out
running
there.
overtime, and Everybody's starting to buy them gifts, and I guess they start the day early and end it late. Yeah. But we hope
they
that
weren't at fault.
Here's what I hope for that guy. I hope that guy learns a hard lesson.
Yep.
I hope that it puts some things in perspective, and he gets on a corrected spiritual journey.
Absolutely.
Maybe he'll get plugged
Ultimately,
in.
He needs Jesus. That's the journey. That
and maybe he
doesn't know he's needing or looking for.
Yeah.
He needs Jesus.
Yeah.
If he's on a spiritual
When we get
journey,
people go through things, but hopefully he looks back at this and says, "Man, I need to not do that again," and maybe put some things in perspective.
Right.
And thank God y'all weren't hurt or injured or there wasn't any more malicious. Sounds like this dude, whatever happened, he got away from where he was and and he just was looking for a way to get out of wherever he was.
Right.
And
I'll throw a little God thing in here too that happened this weekend. So this weekend I was supposed to be out of town. I was actually supposed to be on a men's retreat.
Oh wow!
And I couldn't go on the men's retreat because we had some photography stuff that was going on. But ultimately, I think God had me home
for a reason.
For that reason.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All my friends were there or off at this retreat.
Yeah.
And I was kind of bummed about it, but now I'm grateful. I'm like, thank you God that I was there.
Oh man, I can't imagine.
You know, because if Sarah was there by herself, what would she have done? You know, it could have been a whole different situation.
Yeah.
Thank God it wasn't.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that cool though?
Yeah, man. You just
never know. You just got to trust God. And
Yep.
Whatever His plan is. And
that's exactly right.
Go for it. But what you gonna do next weekend?
And support the blue. We back the blue.
Yes, we do.
Good job, Ryan County Sheriff's Department.
Yep. I still have blue blood. My brother's in law enforcement. Thank you. I want to shout out to my brother. Does an amazing job. Loves his
dangerous
career.
job and sometimes thankless.
Absolutely. Yep.
So we thank him.
Especially in the last few years, you know. It's heartbreaking sometimes, the stories that I hear from
I think that's going to get better too, though.
Absolutely.
Kind of like the housing market.
Absolutely.
I think those perspectives are going to get better. I think there's just
America going in a better direction.
There's just got to get more positive. I mean, they're going to be. Everything's going to have a bad apple here and there, but it doesn't mean the whole basket's rotten. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So
that's right.
Just thought about that on my own.
That's right.
What am I going to do next weekend?
Yeah, what you doing next weekend?
Man, this coming weekend is opening weekend.
I'm going deer hunting.
What do you think? I'm going deer hunting, man. Not to sound like
I
that.
better hear a good deer hunting story this weekend.
Well, this weekend I'm going to finally have my kids. Oddly enough, I didn't have my kids in youth weekend, and so I'm going to have my kids with me this weekend. So I'm actually, this will be my probably first opening weekend that I'm actually going to be more of a guide than the hunter. But I don't mind that at all either. Yeah. I mean, I just like to go.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's about it. What about you?
I always say deer hunting is, you know, or any kind of hunting in general, any kind of outdoors thing. You know, it's a blessing to be out there. And what do I always say? I'm sitting here saying what I always say, but I can't remember what I always say. It's a bonus if I get to kill something.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
All the time.
That's my point.
Yeah.
You know, it's a blessing just to be out there in God's creation. And if I do get to shoot something, it's a bonus.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
We're gonna wrap it up?
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up, man. It's been a great day.
It's been fun.
Good talk, good episode.
Yeah.
Learned lots of stuff about the real estate market at the beginning of it. And
local is
still a seller's market.
Yeah, still a seller's market, but
rates
sellers don't panic if your stuff doesn't move. And I feel like we're going to be looking good going into 25.
Hopefully these rates will start coming down. That'll kind of start leaning more towards a buyer's market, you know, kind of.
I'll take neutral.
Neutral's fine. Yeah,
neutral will be good.
Thank y'all so much for watching or listening, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow.
Oh, yeah, that part. Bye, y'all.